Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. And my name is Valerie Van Boeven. If we haven't met in person, it's nice to have you all attending and taking a little time out of your day to learn more about home care content ABCs, what we do at LTC Expert Publications. And we're happy to put on the Home Care Revenue Builders online marketing webinars about every other month or so. This is being recorded, and I will send out the playback to everybody, and hopefully you'll get everything you need with regards to content from this. So let's get going here. We're going to talk about the who, what, when, where, why, and how. If you've ever studied journalism or English or writing of any kind, you'll know that these are the questions that oftentimes make up our articles and our content that we write. So we're going to talk a lot about these 6 words today to help you with content. So the first thing we want to talk about is what is content. We want to know what can constitute content. And the reason we're discussing this today is because every single one of you probably has a website. You should have a blog attached to that website or the ability to blog post. At LTC Expert Publications, we typically create WordPress websites, which makes it extremely easy for our clients to blog post or for us to blog post for them. So that's the only type of development we do because of its ease of use and because the inside of it can be extremely user-friendly. So regardless of whether you're a home care franchise owner or you're an independent home care agency or whatever senior service you provide, when you have a website, you should be putting unique content on that website every single week without fail. If you do not, then all you have is a static website or a calling card or a brochure about your business. And if you want people to engage with that website, if you want to get leads from your website, if you want to have an online marketing presence, you want to be on the first page of Google and you want to stay there, then it's really important that you keep your website fresh, unique, and up to date with timely content. So content can be made up of a lot of different things. Articles that are uniquely written by you, meaning you didn't copy and paste them from another website. You didn't borrow someone else's text and then just add a few words of your own. Or talking about articles that are written by you. There are tons and tons and tons of examples of different articles that you can write as a home care agency owner. You don't have to be a writer. You can simply talk, if you have nothing, I'm going to give you some examples in a few minutes, but if you have nothing else to say, it's always great for your local community to hear from you. Why did you get into this business? What is it that you see happening in your local community with regards to elder care services? What is it that's troubling most of the family caregivers, and how can your company solve that problem? There's all kinds of things you can write about. There's internal company news, there's external company news. Internal news would be anything that has to do with caregivers of the month or awards that you've won, stuff that's happening with and to your staff that are positive that you want to get out there to the community. And then external company news is anything that you attend, anything that you're out there shaking hands and looking people in the eye and saying, hi, my name is so-and-so, and I'm with ABC Home Care, and we would like to know more about you so that you can get to know more about us. Anytime you're doing that, you can write up a blurb, take a few pictures, and put it on your website so that it goes out to Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. That's called syndication. You definitely want to make sure you have blog posts, but on top of that, you need to syndicate that content. You need to make sure that that content is going out to your social media and to an e-newsletter. And none of that is really that hard to set up. It's just a matter of committing to it and knowing that your online presence is just as important as your offline presence, that direct referral marketing. So content is made up of anything you can think of that can go on your website. Articles by you, curated content, which we'll talk about in just a minute. Videos we'll talk about, audio we'll talk about, and infographics. I don't go too much into detail on that, but an infographic is basically a big giant picture of, I've seen millions of them. Like they talk about the number of people who own Apple iPhones, or the ways to prevent, September I think is Fall Prevention Month. So, the 10 ways to avoid falls in the home or something like that. So infographics are usually done by a graphic artist or somebody who's into doing infographics, and they're usually really long. And that's okay. Those are great content too. So that just gives you a brief on what content is. There's probably 1,000 more things you can add to that. Let's talk about articles. What makes a great article? So articles in and of themselves, if you're not a writer and you don't have time to be a writer, this gives you some basics on what you should be looking for when you hire a writer. Now at LTC Expert Publications, we have about 15 writers that write for us because we have about 900 articles a month written for us and for our clients actually. So the article that you see on the screen is one that was written for our client, and that's okay. It's a ghostwritten article, but it's very educational, it's very timely, and it meets all of our criteria that we put forth for our writers. Hiring writers can be tricky because sometimes they will be people who present themselves as living in the United States and understanding the United States healthcare system, but really they live in India or somewhere else. So you have to be really careful about your writers. You also don't want to pay too much for a writer. So here's the general, this is very, very basic rules of the trade. Your articles need to be at least 400 to 500 words. And the reason I say that is because Google doesn't want to index one sentence and a picture. Google can't read photos or images, and so one sentence is not going to do it. You need 400 or 500 words of text for Google to take the time to index that page. 2 paragraphs can actually be about 400 words if they're long paragraphs. So if you have 4 to 6 sentences for each paragraph, you could get your 400 to 500 words in there. Subheadlines. If you look at it's kind of small, but if you look at the picture that I posted there, you can see that there's a big headline. Actually, it's kind of covered up. It's way at the top. There's subheadlines, and then there's sub-subheadlines like risk factors. There are lists. There's a list in this, so you can always make a list of risk factors for whatever this thing's talking about. Maybe a list of risk factors for falls in the home. You always want to have an image. Images are really what draws people. We are very visual as human beings, and so you always want to have an image with your article. You should never, ever, 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 ever lift an image off of a Google search. So if you go to Google search and you go to images and you type in caregiver and senior, hundreds and hundreds of images will come up, and that's awesome, but you never want to take those because Getty Images has a call bank or a bank of hundreds of new lawyers who will quickly send out, within 30 days, will send out a lawyer letter to you asking you for $1,000 or telling you you must pay $1,000 for use of that image. They are lawyer letters. They're scary to get, and they're very expensive, so don't let an image cost you money. Always buy your images if you didn't take them yourself. So we use bigstockphoto.com, big, B-I-G, stock, S-T-O-C-K, images.com. Or I'm sorry, bigstockphoto.com, bigstockphoto, P-H-O-T-O.com. You can Google it. There's lots of places, but that seems to be the most cost-effective place for us to buy images, and paying $2 or $3 for an image, as opposed to paying $50 or $60 for an image. You don't need to do that. So we buy them there. So you always want to have an image and then a great headline. So this headline is kind of covered up, but it talks about cancer, ovarian cancer, and this is Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month or something like that. So I always want to have a great headline and all these things. So if you were going to write an article yourself, these are the things you want to think about, making it easy on the eyes. If you look at this article, you could easily scan through here. You could read the intro, you could read the risk factors, and you could read the testing. And there's more below this. I just took a screenshot. So make it easy on the eyes. Space out your paragraphs. Make sure people can read it really easily. Use a nice, dark, large font. Okay, here is another example of an article. Now, this is company news. So instead of us writing the article for our client, the client submitted the article to us for posting. So you can see that this one has kind of a long title, but this person submitted this content. They do a very regular job of submitting content, and they do a great job of it. and we post it for them. We do all the search engine optimization on the back end. You can write these articles. This was written by our client. It was not written by us. And so it doesn't take long to kind of get in the groove. Set aside a time, a day of the week, or day of the month where you take 2 or 3 hours and you write up a few of the events that you attended in the last month. You can do that. Okay, so what is curated content? Now, curating content is easier than coming up with information on your own for your website. So maybe you see a totally terrific article in the New York Times or in your local paper and you want to put that on your blog. Well, you have to be careful about that because you can't take the credit for writing it, and you don't want to put duplicate content on your website. So you have copyright issues to deal with, and you have some issues of Google considering it duplicate content and not wanting to index it. So the basic idea of curating is to take some content created by someone else and feature it along with other related content. And you must provide credit for whoever it is you're taking the content from. So if you're going to do a quote, or you're going to do something like that, you need to make sure you credit the original writer. You're finding content that you know your readers will be interested in and connecting them to it. So this is a good way to say, you know what, I know my readers would really love this. I'd never come up with something like this, but I'd like to add it to my blog, so I'm going to curate it. Almost all content marketers curate content in one way or another. One report found that 82% of marketers curate content. Overall, best marketers create around 65% of their own and curate an additional 25%. So it's still important that you come up with some unique stuff that actually is from your brain, that's not, or is written for you, that is not on someone else's website. One of the most common ways to use curated content is for social media marketing. You share content other than your own to be successful, so finding the best content for your readers that you didn't make is a key part of the process. Curated content on social media represents about 47% of all clicks. So that means that if you post directly to Facebook, you can share, articles from the New York Times or whatever right on your Facebook business page. But what's most important is that you always know that your website needs to be the hub for everything. So you need to make sure that you're putting new blog posts on your own website so that they go out to Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and anywhere else you want them to show up. So if you look at the article on the right-hand side, you can see in-home care group aims to raise money for Alzheimer's Association with senior selfies. Now, I did not write this article originally. This is a curated piece of content. So the top piece of it is written by us, and the middle content, so it's as reported by Fredericksburg.com in the blog post, in-home care group seeking senior selfies. So Synergy Home Care came up with this marketing idea, and they want seniors to take selfies, and then there's a quote about Synergy Home Care and their donations to the Alzheimer's Association. So you can see that some of it's curated, that's the quoted area right there, and the rest of it is talking about the article itself and what the article contains. So that is a great example of curated content. It's not all a giant quote. It can't be. It's just maybe a third of it or less is actually quoted from another source. So make sure that when you have curated content that you actually add your own style, your own text, your own thoughts about the article itself or about the opportunity or whatever it is, and then quote your source, or maybe you're going to quote multiple sources, that's fine, and do it that way. But don't just quote an article and then put the link to whoever originally wrote it. That is just copying and pasting. All right, so that's curated content. It's a little easier than trying to come up with stuff on your own. Okay, let's talk about another type of content, and that is video. And everybody shies away from video because they feel like it's a really hard thing to do. And it's not. I will tell you that Facebook is all hot on video right now. So the more video you post directly to Facebook, not on YouTube and then post to Facebook, but directly to Facebook, and that'd be a whole nother webinar. But when you do that, Facebook really takes that seriously because they want you to like them better than YouTube. So they want you to post your videos directly to them. So if you look at the top left-hand corner, And you can see this on your own if you go to our website at ltcmarketingu.com. It's ltcmarketingu, the U for you as in university.com. When you go there and you click on LTCMU videos right there, you will see all these videos. These are actually Facebook Live videos. So what we decided to do, and you can do this too, you just have to make sure you plan out your content. We decided that every Wednesday at 3 o'clock Eastern, we're going to do a live show. Now, we committed to that. I think we've missed 1 week so far. But we were in the middle of a site build at the time. So we decided to do that. So every episode airs live on Facebook, and you can read this page. You can see where to go to our Facebook page. But we air it live every single Wednesday. So then I take that video because Facebook will let you download the videos. If you shoot a live video, and it's another set of processes to tell you how to do all that. But once you shoot a live video, you can do it from your cell phone, you can do it from whatever, your laptop. Once you do it, then you can also download that video from Facebook. It will be on your Facebook business page, but you can also download it and put it on YouTube, on your website, or wherever you want. So what you're looking at is a screenshot right here on the left of different episodes. Now that's a screenshot, so but there's a bunch more videos below this. But each of them has their own sort of theme, so you can click on any one of those and you'll actually be taken to YouTube. But these all are on our Facebook Live Facebook page, our Facebook LTC Marketing U page. So that's one kind of video, like Facebook Live videos. Another type of video that might be a little bit easier, especially if you don't want to be in front of the screen, are the videos that you see on the right-hand side of the page. So if you're in South Florida, this might be of interest to you, the South Florida Approved Senior Network on Facebook. We actually have a pretty huge following there. That's one of our websites and one of our Facebook pages. And we highlighted one of our folks, our home care agency owners, on that page. Today, actually, this video went up. So it's on Facebook, and the page is South Florida Approved Senior Network. So if you were to go there, you would see this video right here, Are You a Family Caregiver? And it talks about the fact that one of our home care experts, our home care agency owners, is sharing tips this week on how to, and on the best ways to get, to stay healthy as a family caregiver or stress relief or whatever. So you can see that video. It's very short, and we're talking under a minute or maybe right at a minute. It's super, super, super short. So you want to keep these short. It does have music behind it. There's no voiceover. Nobody's talking. And we use this, we did this video with a software called Animoto.com. It's A-N-I-M-O-T-O, Animoto.com, A-N-I-M-O-T-O. And it's pretty cheap. You can get a very basic membership there, and you can go in and create videos just like the one you see here. Super, super easy. You can download them from Animoto. You can put them directly on Facebook. You can put them on anything you want. You can put them on YouTube or whatever. But we're doing Facebook because we have a purpose behind this. And you can read all that on the page. Another one that we did, and we do for some of our clients, is videos that are specific to them and specific to their Facebook page. So the South Florida one was to our South Florida audience, anybody in South Florida who likes our page. But we do some for our actual clients. So the Perfect Home Care was one. They're located in New York, and we did a video. We had actually 2 or 3 videos for them, and this one actually had a voiceover with it, but normally it's just music and words and pictures and some video clips. And we got all of that from Big Stock Photo, and we put it into Animoto, and we added some pretty music, and boom, there you have it. So this just is a nice little story about a dad. It's pretty easy. So if you wanted to see that, you would go to Facebook and you would Google, listen to me. If you go to Facebook, you would type in the Perfect Home Care and you would see that there. Okay, so that's video. I encourage you to start thinking about video. Hire a service like ours who understands your target market if you don't want to do it yourself. And we can do the videos for you, or the content and the videos, or however that works for you budget-wise. But definitely need to make sure that you have two kinds of content that comes from your website every week without fail and goes out to your Facebook, your Twitter, your LinkedIn, and your e-newsletter, and have some content that's going directly to Facebook or to YouTube, or both, or to Twitter and YouTube and LinkedIn, or however you want to do it. Those videos that we posted directly on Facebook, we can also make a blog post out of those and embed those on a blog post for our client, so they get two different uses out of that one video. So there are different ways that you can do that. The next thing that I want to show you is audio. Now, audio can be considered content too. And if you're listening to this and you're a home care agency owner, or you own any senior service, or you're marketing a home care agency, you are an expert in elder care issues. You are an expert. You are, because you own the business and because this is your passion, this is what you want to do. So you can be a podcast person just like I can be a podcast person. So what I do is I take every webinar just like this one, and I take a free program that you can download. I know you can download it on Mac and Windows PCs. It's called Audacity. It's Audacity, Audacity. And you download it onto your computer, and you can take any video, or you can just record your audio. So sometimes I don't have a video like this that I want to put into Audacity. What Audacity does is when I upload the video, it just strips out the audio, and now I have my podcast. But if I want to do just a straight podcast, I can record myself directly on Audacity, just talking. So if you have some talking points in front of you about elder care issues in your local community and you want to start a podcast, all you have to do is have Audacity and a microphone, and boom, you're in the business of podcasting. We do subscribe to a service, I can't know what it's called, Buzzsprout or something like that, where we put all of our podcasts, and from there they go also directly to iTunes. You can put your content directly on iTunes. You don't have to use a service like we do. So you're seeing my podcasts there, a list of them. But you can click on the red link there and subscribe to us on iTunes. And every time a new episode comes in, then you'll be notified of it if you're a podcast listener. And we do get a lot of leads from podcasts. I didn't think we would, but we do. And if you are a regular talker or you like to talk, and you like to talk about seniors and issues and how to solve them, pick a topic each week, do a podcast, tell people about it, put it out there on Facebook, do a blog post about it, tell people what you're doing, commit to it, and then you will also have a following, especially if it's a podcast that's local to you. I guarantee you there is no one doing an elder care podcast for Tarrytown, New York. And I'm probably saying that wrong. But if you're the person that starts that podcast, I guarantee you'll have a following of some kind. So that is what we call content, and that is audio. Okay, so people ask all the time, how often, let's talk Facebook. Facebook is your community outreach. This is where you reach out to your community. You need to have 1,000 likes on your Facebook business page. You need to have 10,000 likes, but a minimum of 1,000, let's say. So how often do I reach out to my local community on Facebook? How often? So my rule of thumb is that one time per day, you should be engaging on Facebook. That doesn't mean you have to blog post an article or whatever every day. It means that you should be there, you should be engaging, you should share a New York Times article or something every single day. However, at least 3 times that week, you should have a post that goes from your blog to Facebook. So 3 times a week, you would want to have some content coming from your website to your Facebook page, and 2 times a week, in other words, you would have some just cutesy stuff from other websites or interesting educational stuff. And you could do more than that, but 3 times per week would be fabulous coming from your website. Now, for our clients, we blog post for them 1 time per week, and we ask them to submit company news. So when they submit company news each week and we blog post for them, they're at least getting 2 times a week from their website coming over to Facebook. And then it's up to them to post those other one-time per day little fun things that they want to share with their community, and that's okay. So at least 3 times a week, that stuff should be coming from your blog, hopefully. If you can't get that in, at least 2 times per week. So that is how often. So now we're going to talk the who, what, when, where, how, why, and how. Now this is when you're going to write an article or do a podcast or do a video. So these are some of the things you can keep in mind to make it easier for you. So if you answer the questions who, what, when, where, why, and how, you'll pretty much have your article or your podcast or your video. So if I was writing an article, I would want to answer these kinds of questions. So for the question who, that question could be, who are you talking about? Who are the people involved? Who was there? Who sponsored the event? Who? Talk about who the folks were that were involved in whatever it is you're talking about. And then the what is, answer these questions. What happened? What was said? What was the result? What kind of event was it? Think about all the ways you could answer the question what, and you'll come up with a sentence or 2 there. And then the when. When did this happen? When is it happening? When will it happen again? When will the results be announced? So when did this happen? So if you were at a senior fair, when was the senior fair? When is the senior fair going to happen again? Is it next year? Or when is it happening if it hasn't occurred yet? So you need to answer the who, what, and the when. And then the where is pretty easy. Where is the event being held? Where should people meet? Where do people buy tickets? Where do people register? Think about all of those things when it comes to, oops, I didn't change my slide at the bottom, when it comes to the where. And then why? Why is this happening? Why get involved? Why should people attend? Why donate or sponsor? Answer the question why. By the time you get through all of these, if you can answer just 1 or 2 of the whys, the whens, the whos, the wheres, and then the hows, then you will have your article. So how do I find more information? How do I get there? How do I get in touch? How often is the event and how many people attended? So answer 1 or 2 out of each of these questions here. Just ask yourself when, who, what, where, why, how, and you will have an article. And then include an image, and you've got your blog post. So that's pretty. Now, if anybody has any questions, I'm going to move on to my next slide, but you are welcome to type them in. There's a little questions on your dashboard. There's a little question section, and you can type in any question that you like and answer it before we end if there are any questions at all. So you're welcome to do that. And it's right there on your little dashboard. It says questions, and all you have to do is type in your question. Okay, and I'll read them at first come, first serve. So that is the basics for content. And I wanted to share something else with you that's free and that you can go to, and you can sign up for our newsletter list if you want. You don't have to, but there's lots of free stuff on this website. In fact, there's a ton of free stuff. So ltc.com, LTC Marketing You, I talked about that a few minutes ago. That's where we're keeping all of our how-to stuff. So we have one section of that website that's private, that's for our clients only, and they all have usernames and passwords to get into this super special stuff. And then we have a huge section of stuff that's for everybody, just like this webinar is for HCRB members only, but there's a whole section that's for anybody. It's all of our past webinar replays. It's anything you can think of that we do. Our Facebook Live videos are all there for you to see. And our podcasts are all there for you to see or listen to if you want. So there is tons of stuff at LTC Marketing You. You are welcome to go in and check it out and see if there's anything that we can help you with. It's all free. You don't have to sign up for anything. It's just there for you to learn more about home care marketing. So I hope you will go there and check it out. And if there are no questions, then I am going to say have a great week and have a great weekend, and hopefully tomorrow, Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern, you'll join us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/LTC Marketing You. If you join us there, you will see our live broadcast tomorrow. All right, thanks everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.